Hello friends, in this video I'm going to cover the following Docker commands. These are very basic commands. Through these commands you can perform the simple operations related to Docker. You can pull the image from the Docker hub. Once the images get pulled, you can use further commands to create the containers. You can rename the containers if you want to, and you can start and stop the containers. So overall, with these commands, what we are going to do, we will pull some of the images, we will create the containers out of it, and after that we will play out with the containers. We can connect to the containers, we can come out from the containers, and we will do some interesting stuff like how we can copy the how we can copy the files from the one container from the OS level to the containers, and we will learn some of the further Docker commands like how we can search the particular image from the Docker hub, and we will see some other basic commands. So looks like we have a lot of things to do, so let's get started. So we will jump onto the terminal. So I will jump onto the terminal, and first of all, in order to do the practice of all these commands, you should have the Docker installed in your system. And if it is not installed in your system, I'm going to provide you the link below this description of this video. You can refer to that link to copy the software, so, and this is basically a link, so we'll see. So it depends upon what OS you are being using. Since I'm using the Linux, so yeah, Ubuntu, so whatever OS you are using, depends upon that. Just navigate to that particular page and refer the instructions, and instructions are pretty much straightforward. You can refer those instructions and copy and install the Docker software. So I'm not going to cover this in this video, so you can just install it. So I have already Docker installed in my system, so you can just check that by using the Docker version command. So I'm going to use the sudo docker version. So it is going to show me the version number, which Docker version number I'm using, 18.06 for the client as well as for the server. It is also going to show us the API version number, and it provides us the other details like the OS and the architecture details. Now let's see. First of all, let's go to the first command. Our first command is basically the image, Docker image, which is used to display all the images which is downloaded or available on my local host. So we will use the sudo docker image ls. So it is going to show me the details that currently I have the 4 Docker images available with my local system, and it will show you the further details like the tag name, the image ID and created, and the size of the each image. Now suppose I want to pull one Docker image from the Docker hub. So if you don't know the Docker hub, it's basically a repository where all the Docker images are stored, and you can also store your own image there. So if you want to store the Docker image onto your locally and you want to pull that, you have to use this command, that is the docker pull the image name. So I will use the sudo docker the pull which image you want to pull. Like suppose I want to pull the busy box. Busy box is basically a lightweight Linux OS, which is basically used at the in the devices. So I'm just going to put that. I have not mentioned the tag name, so it is going to fetch the latest one. So as you can see, it will take some time. It depends upon your internet speed. But looks like this the pretty busy box is a very small one, so it won't take much time to download. So once it is downloaded, like we will again use the sudo docker image ls command, so this will show us. So as you can see over here that the docker image is now downloaded, so we will use the same command, that is the sudo docker image ls. So as you can see over here that we got the busy box image is built. So what we did, we now pulled the image. Now once the image is downloaded in your Docker system, you can easily create the container out of it. So what is the difference between the image, a Docker image, and is the container? So Docker image is basically a snapshot, and from that snapshot you can able to create the Docker container by using the docker create command. So which command we are going to learn now? This one, that is the docker create, and you have to give the image name. So let's do this. So I will use the sudo docker create. Now whatever image you want to create, what kind of name you want to assign. Say I want to assign, say, my busy box, and you want to create this particular container from which image. You have to give its name. Like I want to create the container with a name busy box, and out of which particular image file, that is a busy box, and we want to keep it interactive. Like we want to create the interactive we want to run it in an interactive mode. So looks like we have to put the option first here. So this will be the overall command, that is the docker create, and we want to give the name as my busy box, and this is basically the image name, that is the busy box, and we want to run it in an interactive mode. So looks like the container is now being created. So we will see what are the different containers are created so far in my system. So we will use the sudo docker container, not container, we can say ps all. So as you can see over here that this particular container with a name my busy box is being created, and this is basically the container ID. And so now this is how you can create the container. So now container is being created. Now we want to start this container. So for that we have to use the another command, that is the start, this one. Now we are going to try this command, that is the docker start container name. So sudo docker start, then what name we have assigned, that is the my busy box. So as you can see over here, now looks like it is getting started. So again we will use the same command, busy box. We will see all the processes. I will try to reduce this font size so that it will be visible in a one line. So as you can see over here, let me clear the screen. So as you can see over here, that is this is basically the container, and this is a container ID, and it is being created from the image busy box, and it is started in an interactive mode, and it's just started 26 seconds ago, and this particular container is up, and the name of container is the my busy box. So I'm just again going to increase my font size, then it will be easy for you to see. Now we want to connect to this particular container. So what we have done so far, like we have pull up the BusyBox image, and from that image we have created the my BusyBox container, and we have started in the interactive mode. Now we want to connect to that particular and this particular container. So for that we have to use execute command. So will you be using this docker execute command. So we will run the sudo docker execute. You want to connect to which container? So we want to connect as interactively. We want to connect to which particular container? That is the BusyBox. So we will give my BusyBox, and we need the shell. So it should give me to this. Oh, so something went wrong. The sudo docker execute. Yep, there's a typo. So as you can see over here, so you got the prompt, a BusyBox prompt. So if you go the ls, it is going to show you the content of the container. It will show you the contents of the container. Like here you can create all these stuff, like I can make the directory as Girish. So we got this particular thing. Okay, now so this is how you can connect to the any container. Now we want to do some interesting stuff, like suppose I want to copy the one file from my system to this particular container. So how you can do this? Now I have created a one folder as Girish. In this folder is currently blank, and I want to create the copy the file from my system to this particular folder inside the container. So let me start the one more terminal. So I need to start the terminal. So I will start the terminal. I will start new terminal, and let me change its prompt. Now let me increase the font size a little bit. Okay, now we have one temporary directory. In that I have one file. This is basically a text file.txt. This is a file, temporary file I have, which is available on my local system. So you can see the content. So I've created, which holds some text, and I want to copy this particular file into the container. Which container? The name of container is my BusyBox. So you have to use the sudo docker container cp. You want to copy this. Which file you want to copy? I want to copy this file, which is the text file.txt. Where you want to copy? I want to copy into the BusyBox container. Where exactly, at what location you want to copy? So I want to copy to the folder named as in Girish. So it is going to ask me the password since I had run the sudo command. So it looks like it gets copied there. So we will jump on to the another terminal. So I will just do the ls. So earlier it was blank, so this time you can see the file named as in text file.txt. So we will just verify its content also. So there you go. So this is how you can use this particular command, that is the docker container cp. You have to give the cp file name, which file you want to copy, and where you want to copy, in which container you want to copy, and you have to just give the // and give the path wherever you want to copy this out. Now Now we will go over to this terminal. I will just come out from this busy box, so I have to use the exit command. And now let us see the status of this particular container. If you want to see the status of this any container, so you have to use the command sudo docker container ls hyphen all. So it will show me that this is in the status up for the 6 minutes. Now suppose if you want to bring down this particular stop this particular container, so you can use the another command, that is the sudo docker stop. Then what name we have given, that name you have to give the my busy box, or you can give the ID. You can give either the ID, you can give the name. So we will just put the name here. So it is going to stop this particular container. So after that we will rerun this same command, that is the sudo docker container ls hyphen all, or you can use the another command, that is the sudo docker ps all. So both are the one and the same. So as you can see over here that we got the status as the exited. So you can see it here, or you can use the another command also, the same command. Both are going to give you the same result. So it is exited. If you want to restart the same, you have to use the command start. So it will take some time to start here. Looks like it's done. So we will just do this. So as you can see, it will show us that is now up by the up from the last 6 seconds. Okay. Now let's move on to the other commands. Like we have seen the docker image ls, we seen the pull command, create command. Now let's see how we can use the rename command. Now suppose we want to give a different name. Instead of my busy box, we want to give, say, my busy box 2. I want to rename this. So you have to use the sudo docker, which command you have to use? Rename. So just give the name, say busy box, say my busy box 2. So it will get renamed. So let's verify with this command, that is the sudo docker container ls hyphen all. So as you can see that now the name has been changed from the my busy box to my busy box 2. So if we have seen how we can use the rename command, we had already seen how we can use the stop and start, and also we had seen the execute command, which is used to connect to the any container if that container is being started in the interactive mode. Then we will switch on how we can use the pause and unpause command. So now this particular container is running. So what we will do, we will try to connect to this one again. So sudo docker execute in the interactive mode, say my busy box 2, and we need the shell. So we got this everything here, and everything. We have the file also, which we have copied earlier. Okay, now I will jump on to the another terminal for the timing. Now here I want to pause this particular container. So which command I have to use? The sudo docker the pause the container name, that is the busy my busy box 2. So it should pause the container. So looks like it is done. So when you go here, if you type anything, nothing is going to happen because it is getting paused. So if you want to unpause it, you have to use the command, another command, that is the unpause my busy box 2. So looks like it's got unpaused. So as you can see over here, now I can use this particular container and it's working properly in the interactive mode. So this is how you can use these two commands, the pause and the unpause. And now let us see how we can remove the container. If you don't want to use the container, if you want to remove it, the container, you can use the sudo docker container rm. Then you have to put the container ID or the container name. So let me come out of from this particular container. So let's list the containers first of all. So sudo docker container, say ls all. So we got one container. So I want to remove this container. So I have to use the sudo docker container rm, say my busy box 2. So looks like it is being executed somewhere. So sudo docker container, or we will use the ps all. So let us first, I think it is in stop. So sudo docker container rm. Let me try to remove with the id. You cannot remove the container, this one. Stop the, okay, so let us stop first. So sudo docker stop, and let me give the id itself. Let me try to remove it. Stop this container. So that is going to take some time to stop this, and after that we will just remove this container. So looks like we have removed the container. So I will just clear the screen and we will see, list out all the processes. So so let me better use this container. So sudo docker container ls all. So the container has been removed. So you have to use this docker command, the docker container rm, and give the container ID or the container name. But before that, we should be stopping that, stop that container, and then we can remove this. Now coming back to the image, docker image part. So we will list all the dockers. Sudo docker image. So currently, as you can see, we have the 5 docker images. Now these all docker images are the part of our docker software itself. Now suppose if we want to copy this particular or any particular docker image onto the file, we can do it with the save command. So file will be saved as a tar file. So what we will do, so we will just try to create, one let me create one folder, say temp tar folder, and we will just go to that temp tar folder, and this folder is currently blank. Now I want to save docker image file, docker image busybox image onto my disk as a tar file. So how you can do this? You have to use sudo, you have to use this particular command, that is the docker save the image name which you want to copy and under which file you want to copy. So you have to give docker save then image name, which which image you want to copy. I want to copy the busy box, and what name you want to give. So -o is basically the output, where you want to output this file. So I want to give, say, my busy box .tar file. So it should copy this particular file. So it should create this particular file. Now you must be asking, like, why we will need this? Like, if you want to create some Docker image, if you want to pull the Docker image from the Docker hub, you can use the pull command. But suppose, what if you want to pull the image offline? Suppose you don't have the internet connection and you have the some sort of tar files available with you. From that you want to create the image. So at that time this save command is useful. So now I already have this image file, the busybox image file, available with my Docker software. So because it is showing me in the Docker image ls command. So what I will do, I will first of all remove this particular image. Now for this we will learn the another command, that is the sudo docker image rm. So we want to remove the image. So sudo docker image rm. Which image you want to remove? That is a busy box. So it will show me that this particular image is now being removed locally from my system. So let's check with the ls command. So we will use sudo docker image ls. So as you can see, we don't have the busy box image file available on my local system, but instead I have my tar file named as an my busy box. Now suppose I don't want to go over to the internet and pull the busy box image from the Docker hub, but instead of that I want to create the Docker busybox Docker image from this particular tar. So you have to use the load command. So we are trying to learn the another command, that is the load command. So we'll use the sudo docker load. So we want to load it from which one? So what input you want to give, you have to use the minus I, so my busy box. So it will show me that this particular is being loaded. So we will try to use the ls command again. Let me first clear this so it will be more clear. So as you can see here, now we got the busy box. So this busy box image is now being created. Docker image is created not from pulling this image from the Docker hub, but from getting the data entirely from this particular tar file. So we have seen how we can use the load command, and we have already seen how you can remove the image. But make sure whenever you are removing the image, you first remove all the containers, otherwise you are going to see the error. So you will face the error. So first you remove all the containers and then try to remove the image file. We have already seen how we can use the container copy command to copy the stuff from your local system to the given container. And we had already seen the ps and the version. Now remaining command is left with us is the search command. Now if you want to search the details of any Docker image which is available onto the Docker hub, which is available onto the net, so you can use this search command. So you use docker sudo docker search. Now which image you want to search? Let's try with the busy box itself. So it will show you all the details, what are the different busy box are available, images are available. It will provide you all the description and how many star ratings are available, whether it's an official or automated. It provides you all these details. So I think we have covered all these commands. So these are the basic commands. We should be knowing all these commands if you want to work with the Docker, like pulling off the images, creating the containers and manipulating the containers, changing the state of containers from start to stop, and connecting to the containers, and changing the state from pause to unpause. And there are more commands related to this, like connecting the volumes, collecting the volumes, and a lot of other stuff which I'm going to show you in our next video. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and and I think that's pretty much we have for this video. Yep. Thanks. Bye.